Supreme Court Justice Stephen Breyer, who just turned 83 years old, did an interview with Fox News this past weekend where he once again reiterated that he is going to retire on his own terms. You cannot pressure him into retiring. He, of course, has no intention of dying on the court, as if that's something he can control. But he says when it's time for him to retire, he's going to retire. But then he admitted something else. He admitted that term limits would make his life a lot easier. Here's what he said. When asked about term limits, he said, "I think you could do that. It should be a very long term because you don't want the judges, who's holding that term to start thinking about his next job. But it would make life easier for me." Okay, so you've just actually pointed out a very valid problem with term limits. And that is, sure, we don't want these judges thinking, okay, well, I don't want to be too hard on this corporation with this ruling because, maybe they hire me as one of their lawyers after I leave here. And if you think that's not possible, folks, let me just direct you to the last 30 years of the U.S. Department of Justice. That's what happens. Why don't you go look up where Eric Holder is now? He's working for the same people he didn't prosecute as Attorney General of the United States. This is what they do. There is that revolving door, although people don't pay as much attention to it in the judiciary as they do with like the FDA or the EPA or any of the other agencies. But this is a real problem that he brings up, and I'm glad he did, because let's talk about it. Okay, cool. You don't want people thinking about their next job. I agree with you. So, how long do you want these term limits to be? 9 years was the number floated out before. What about 15? Is 15 good enough? Is 20 good enough? 20 is a bit too long, though, if you ask me. I mean, that could really take you through 5 different presidential administrations. That's too much. 15? I still think that's too much. I'm going to stick with 9, actually, but thank you for your concern, Stephen Breyer. And here's why. Because not only do we put in the term limits, but we're going to have to spend a little money here. And even though you don't get to sit on the court for the rest of your life, we're going to give you your pay for the rest of the life because we're going to bar you from practicing law further beyond that. That's it. No more. We basically force you into retirement. But that becomes a condition. You want to take that job? You want to sit on the United States Supreme Court? You want to be the law of the land? Then you also have to accept the limitations that come with it for once you leave the court. We can do that, okay? We can just write that into the constitutional amendment, which is what it would take in order to put term limits on the United States Supreme Court and every other federal court in this country. There should be no lifetime appointments. Now, we can quibble over how to handle that, sure. We can quibble over the number, the limit of the actual term limit. That's something that could be negotiated. That's something that could be worked on. That's not a big deal, really. But he's sitting there and he's hiding behind this fake concern because there's literally nothing stopping any justice right now from just saying, you know what, I retire. I'm going to sit back on my good, cushy government retirement. But at the same time, I'm also going to go work for Exxon. I'm going to go work for Pfizer. They can do that now, Justice Breyer. So what do we do about that? Right. You don't have an answer for that. You just want to continue to be the guy that everybody focuses on, and you want to hope that you can hold on long enough and retire on your own terms. You're 83 years old. Go retire. Enjoy the rest of your life. Do whatever the hell you want as long as you get the hell off of that Supreme Court. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to like, comment, share, and most importantly, subscribe to our channel for fresh content 7 days a week.